In a world where digital content barrels towards us at relentless breakneck speeds, where posts and memes and tweets and snaps rain down a punishing assault of attention-grabbing data, three heroic podcasters with a strong background in broadcast media are taking on the internet. Each week, we break down the trends, technology, and connections that are transforming our lives. We are Things I Found Online. Congratulations! You've gone online and found this fine program that we happen to call Things I Found Online, featuring Jacques Daniel, Louise Palanker, Laurie Rogenkamp, and the man whose voice is currently dancing through your ears, that would be me, Joe Cipriano. On this enthralling episode, we will tackle the creation and sharing of music in the digital age with Bob Cowsill and Lisa Goich. Listen as I seamlessly toss to my co-host, Louise Palanker. Watch, Louise.
Oh, Joe, that was enchanting. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
How do we discover and share and listen to music in the digital age? Our guests are Bob Cowsill from the Cowsills.
Yeah.
And Lisa Goich from the Grammys and Girl on the Go and so many other fun projects.
And from the Goiches.
And from the Goiches
of the
Beverly
Royal
Hills.
Goiches.
The
Royal Goiches of Detroit.
Of Detroit, of course.
A fine music city, let me add.
Yes.
Music's in my blood.
Wait, you're from Detroit?
Yeah.
I keep meeting all these Detroiters out here in Hollywood.
Because they left Detroit.
There you go, Bob. Yeah.
Never thought of it that way.
Bob, tamp the Detroit hating.
No, I love Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
That was just a comment on what happened, that's all.
They're going to want that key to the city back. I'm sorry.
We grew up in the record store era,
Yes.
where I would walk up and down every aisle, explore every category, pour over physical bins of records. Do you have that graphic of a record store?
Oh,
Just
let's
so
see.
that you kids can see it.
So somebody
It's like
there
you
it
were
is.
actually physically
What are all the square
yeah.
things?
surrounded.
Can't you smell it?
I can.
Like, I can actually smell what that, I'm looking at it right now, I can smell the cardboard.
You had to really know the alphabet.
Yeah, you did.
It taught you that.
Very important.
You did.
We would
Very
read
important.
liner notes, study the
my God.
artwork,
Yeah.
talk to fellow customers or the kid who worked there about what else we may like. And today, your musical reach goes far beyond a record store, but what you may only be seeing is presented to you by the algorithms alone. So if you like Jack Jones, you may also like other TV theme songs. No! Jack Jones is a jazz singer who happened to record one TV theme song, internet.
I see. Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Any other examples of this? Or like assumes you like something because...
Well, I know on Pandora, my, what do I call it? My Beyond the Sea channel can bring in all sorts besides, was that Bobby Darin? Beyond the Sea?
Beyond the
The
sea.
Is this?
It'll also bring in Mel Torme.
There you go.
It'll
Oh,
bring
so it
in
works.
any number of,
I think they're getting these
And then
algorithms
Stairway
are...
to Heaven for some reason. I have no idea why.
But
I
it's
think-
not like it's not like they're just saying, well, we should throw this out there because he had one other album. It's other people deciding what you should see, right? Because they have
don't
said
know.
they have looked for these other things.
I thought it was like one guy who worked at Pandora.
His
Named
name is
Al
Bob.
Algorithm.
His name is Bob. He's another one of the Bobs.
His name is Algorithm.
Algorithm. He was
That's a
vice
great
president
name for
at
a
one
music
point.
guy.
Yes.
So, Bob,
like
knowing
that.
what you do know about algorithms, what sort of music listener is being introduced to the Cowsills?
You'll be amazed.
Yes.
We have now, for the people who don't know, the Cowsills, we're from the late 60s, so we're oldies people. Okay, but we have heard, we do meet and greets after all our concerts, and we have heard the words, I found you online.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So what was
See?
their search word? What were they
So,
listening to?
Well, one of them, they put a song of ours in this movie Dumb and Dumber,
Yeah.
which became a real popular movie. And I was even at a show we were doing somewhere, and I walked by, and this young girl said, Bob Cowsill. I looked at her, I said, you're too young to know. And she goes, Dumb and Dumber. And so the story is, like the song, went and looked us up online, and if you want to hang around a while, there's a lot
Yeah, there's a lot.
to read, or if you want to educate yourself, you can find us there. So that's a unique, not often experience for older bands, but it does occur.
Well, maybe if they put in the Beach Boys or if they put in some
Well,
other
they're
the
going to have to go
Turtles
through
are.
the Fleetwood Mac if you like this. Hey, you might like the Cowsills. Now, we had nothing to do with you might like the Cowsills.
Right.
No, but you
Right.
know what
That's
I
not
noticed
us.
is after you started, because I do think that the algorithms are getting smarter and smarter.
Mm-hmm.
After you guys started going out on the Happy Together tour every summer, I noticed that if you put in association radio on the Pandora, it will bring up the Cowsills and the Turtles and other people that are on that tour.
Who you
Makes
get
sense.
associated with because they know that that's what's going on now, so they adjust the algorithm probably, or
Yeah.
maybe it does it itself.
I think Al took a class.
It's brilliant. But the downside is I was in a drugstore and there was some swimsuit cover that I thought my daughters would like. So they didn't have the color, so I went online and said, well, I'll just go online and see if it's there in blue.
Right.
I have not.
yeah.
This was 2 years
I
ago.
know where
That's
you're
all
going.
you're getting now are
All I'm getting
swimsuits.
is look at this, look at this,
Is
look
this the
at
story you
this.
tell people, Bob?
let
Is
me
that
tell
why you're
you.
getting it?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. It's a nuisance.
It is.
Nuisance.
I
They
agree
found
with
your
that.
fetish.
That part of it.
Yeah.
That part of it. The music stuff.
Fetish flash, clickbait, clickbait.
The music version would be, I've never listened to country. I think I'll try and listen to a country song online, and then you get bombarded
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
by the country music.
Or you know what
industry.
else? If you go on vacation and you collect like a little turtle and you put it on your shelf, and then people come over and they're like, "Oh, she likes turtles."
Right,
And
all of
then
a
for your
sudden-
birthday every
Yeah,
year,
every
as soon as
holiday.
you have two of something,
Yeah.
you're a collector.
Louise,
Those are early.
What Louise is describing her was an offline experience.
It is.
That's
It's
true.
got nothing to do with online. But
Things she found offline. Yes.
someone saw you had a
Exactly.
turtle.
All right, so I want to talk to the whole panel and find out, how are you guys finding music? How are people discovering and listening to and enjoying music?
Interestingly enough, I mean, I still use things like Pandora and
Those other ancient technologies.
those
That's it.
exactly. But surprisingly, you know how you get in a wormhole in YouTube or on YouTube rather. I'll find all sorts of music that I didn't know about just from one search on YouTube, and then around you go.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think that is how people our age are doing it. We're doing sort of the YouTube carousel.
Yeah.
It's become like our jukebox. But
Yeah.
I think younger kids are using things like Apple Music or
Yeah.
especially Spotify, of course. I think that's
Spotify.
Spotify's another one I
Title
like.
is
yeah.
very
But
big.
we can ask these guys.
Title's big with the kids.
All right, you
Title's big with
youngins.
kids.
What do you guys?
Spotify.
Uh-oh. Spotify, your mic's not on for some reason.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I think you might have the bad one.
Yeah.
The kids like the Spotify.
The kids do, don't they?
Do you guys listen to Pandora at all? I mean, I still use Pandora all the time. You don't? It just doesn't work for you.
Now, I have to tell you,
It feels
interesting.
ancient.
I feel ancient.
I like Spotify better than Pandora, but I also have an Alexa, and Alexa Bose. They've gone together now, and it won't play Spotify. It refuses to play it.
Probably
not-
a
they're not-
licensing issue.
Oh, yeah.
They're not playing with each other.
Yeah.
They
They're not
they
playing
want to be
nice.
your default.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we have more about that coming up in our number one list of
Well,
the
that
week.
was a tease.
Oh,
See,
that
that's
was
what that
something to
was.
look
It was
forward
a
to.
tease of what's coming.
Yeah.
Bob, we want to ask you, what approach do you take to promoting your music online? Because I know that you guys were using pledgemusic.com to fund a new project, a new Acapella project. We want to hear you talk more about that.
Well, the Pledge Music, the funding thing is a whole different ballgame. And when we started doing concerts again and had meet and greets, we understood people expect you to bring merchandise and CDs and pictures. And we initially had to get used to it because it sounded like you're selling an autograph. Just sign it, They just sat through a show and bought tickets. Now you're going to make them. But the people want this stuff. And so if you go on a pledge campaign or a funding campaign for an album, we found out that people like getting involved in projects.
They do.
And they feel
They
a
like
part
ownership.
of it. They're going to Skype into the session. I'd like to see 20 minutes of a recording session. I'll get that.
That's actually very cool.
These incentives that they pick up on, and buy into. I mean, this is just their world. We just entered and said, here we are. And you just throw the dice, and we got up to 108%, but we got our money.
Nice.
Now, the down, not that there's a downside, now you got to go make a record.
Right.
Bob, when you're doing that and you're being recorded for streaming or whatever it is, do you find yourself behaving differently?
When we're
You mean if
like
they're
if
in
they
the
say I
studio?
want to be part of a recording session.
Oh no, we won't change.
No,
we will put all of the drugs away out of sight.
Right.
No, I'm kidding.
He's
Do you know
wondering-
that he was followed around by a documentary crew for 8 years?
Yeah, we're used to it.
He's
so
used to it.
Okay,
We're
that's
gonna
true.
let
I
them-
guess you would know that.
because they're going to Skype in whenever time they want. We don't care. It can be during vocals.
That's
during-
great.
It could be
Yeah.
during a boring time. We might say you might want to wait. We're not doing vocals or tracking, or we're doing some mixing thing that's boring.
I'd like to
that's a cool
announce a
add-on.
contest associated with this show, Things I Found Online.
Yes, what is
so
it, Reese?
I donated to Bob's Pledge Music, and Susan
Yes.
and Paul and John, whoever's involved. I've donated to their Pledge Music, and
Yeah.
I won myself backstage passes.
Did you really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I've been
Could you have
backstage.
just called?
No, but
I would like to donate my prize
okay.
to somebody who writes to us on our Facebook page that says, I love the Cowsills because it's an essay contest.
It's an essay.
I like it.
How many words?
I would say keep it to a paragraph.
All
A
right.
paragraph is good.
Yeah.
Okay.
A Henry James
And
paragraph?
Bob's
or,
going to pick the winner. Bob's going to pick the winner.
Oh,
so
I'm
kiss
picking the
up
winner.
to Bob.
So now Bob's going,
No,
okay.
Okay.
You know
Crap,
what?
now I
I'm-
got to read these things.
I'm going to blindly do it. All right, so don't.
All right.
I like that. That's
Very
a
good.
great
That's
prize.
good, Weeze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just donated last night, and I don't know if it's because to someone else's friend of ours' daughter has a band, and it came across my Facebook feed, and it was late, and I think she got me while I was late. Mm-hmm. But I also wanted to do it. But now I'm an executive producer on her video.
Oh, congratulations.
Wow.
Only one was given
Who
away.
is it?
What's their name
Wow.
so we can
It's
plug
Frankie
it?
and the Studs.
All right.
Awesome. What's a
Wow.
shout out,
That's
Frankie
awesome.
and the
Frankie and the
Studs.
Studs. So, but I'm excited about that. Like, I really wanted to help, and I bought
Yeah,
a T-shirt.
see?
So I pledged 2 things. So I think that the
See?
interaction with the groups is cool,
And we want to help.
yeah,
Does
we
the
want to
T-shirt
help.
say, I'm executive producer number
I'm executive
675?
producer.
I mean, kind
There was
of.
only
There's only
one.
one.
Oh, okay.
There's
Just
only
one.
one,
Okay,
man.
good.
Yeah.
Here's a great aspect on the pledge musics and the Kickstarters. It's that small subset who think that once you've reached your goal, we are mailing them a CD of the new
Oh, right,
record.
right, right.
They don't understand. No, this is to make the
This is-
CD.
All
for
right, so
you.
there are Cowsill fans out there who want to know, where are you guys recording? How is this working? Do you not have to fly with your instruments because it's a cappella? Like,
No,
what?
no. Let me clear something up. Acapella is a whole other project.
Okay.
The Acapella project came upon its own volition. It came to our doorstep. We did it, and it turned out good. We're going to spend the rest of the year finishing that on our own. It's got nothing to do with Pledge Music. Finish the Acapella project and have that, because we stumbled onto something that's very interesting.
Oh, they're separate. Okay.
Pledge Music, we wrote 10 new songs. And we said, well, what are you going to do with them? Well, you got to record songs if you wrote them. And it doesn't matter if you have a label. It doesn't matter if you... Nothing matters. You just got these songs. You can either record them or not. And if you can, you should. So we're going to record 10 new songs. It'll be the third album in probably 20 years. We're not real productive, but we do write and record, and we always will. And it's not about sales anymore, and it's not about a record deal. It's just about this is what you do.
Yeah, this is our body of work, and this is
our work. This is how we operate.
Would
and
you-
if you find us, and online now, but that whole ball game shifted with the internet, because you can now hang a shingle and you can hang it to the whole world, and you could. And people say, "What do you do today to get discovered?" Well, in the old days, you went to New York, all right, but today. These kids today have to, how's your website? How's your Facebook? How's your social media? Are you ready with your merchandise store on your website? How's your music? How's your YouTube presence? Geez, man, you can go on and on
Yes, exactly.
with your
Yeah.
responsibility as an artist before you can start complaining about anything. There's so much for you to do.
You have to be the whole hit factory that was Motown, where they taught those kids, how to
You get
dress,
it?
how to pick up your knife.
The joy is you can get it out to the world.
Yes.
The challenge is, how do you get the world to it? There's your challenge.
Boy, that's good, Bob.
true. Wow,
That's very
Bob.
good.
I think we need to
That's
end the
true.
show. That
That's
was
the challenge.
That's true.
all right. So, Bob, would you like to introduce one of your a cappella? Do you guys have anything queued up? Because we're going
Well,
to play one of Bob's. And
The Rain in the Park and Other Things was our first million seller in 1967. And we redid it a cappella in last May, just recent May.
Nice.
There's a story about that, but we found ourselves in a studio. We didn't know what we were going to do, and we just went ahead and said, look, we're Glee meets what's Pitch Perfect. These shows with Glee and songs. So we got into this, all right, let's do this. And so now we have Rain in the Park and Other Things a cappella.
Oh, let's hear that.
all right.
Cool.
I saw her sitting in the rain, raindrop falling on her. She didn't seem to care. She sat there and smiled at me. And I knew she could make me happy. made me very happy. Flowers in her hair. Flowers everywhere.
You know, that just makes me happy.
Yes.
It really does.
It is.
does.
It makes you
And it's
happy,
so
happy,
beautiful.
happy.
Happy.
Thank
But
you.
no, it gives a smile that's
Yes.
so wonderful.
It's different.
Really good.
It's fun
Yeah.
not having the interference of the instruments. We didn't know any of
Yeah.
this until
Yeah.
we
The
experienced
interference.
it.
Is that how you
Did
look
you-
at it?
Yeah, because vocals and keyboards and violins, and horns, violins
Yeah.
and vocals, we have our whole life had to deal with how those three sit in the same
Sure.
Sure.
same register in terms of mixing and recording. So
Yeah,
But how about now? Do you have to feel like, okay, how does this voice sit in the mix? Aren't you still kind of doing that a little bit?
yeah, but everything's a voice. So it's not competing.
True.
It's just
True,
it's
yeah.
not put the voices over there because it's too close to the strings. We'll move them there, put the horns down there. So it's all kind of it's just loose.
But would you
How
have
do
would you
feel?
have a voice replace like a part that your brain really needs to hear in that song that was an instrument?
No, we
No?
know the song well.
No, I know, but if there was a part in the song that was played on piano, would you have a voice play that?
No. Well, sometimes we did, but you made up new parts. You found yourself creating new parts as you're arranging this thing a cappella.
So it just becomes its own
None
thing.
of those vocal parts are on the recording of the hit.
Right.
They're all different. But
And was that all, Bob? It's all layering.
Right.
Oh
you
my
go
God.
back in
we
and
triple tracked, we double tracked, we single, we did this, but there's like 86 tracks of
yeah,
vocals.
wonderful.
Wow.
Because you don't
86?
have, well, but it's Pro Tools. You don't have to stop. So,
Yeah.
so if each part has 4 harmonies and you triple it, well, there's 12. I
Sure.
mean, it adds up very quick.
Right,
Sure.
right.
Because you're going for
Yeah.
texture, and it's all about texture, a cappella.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey.
We're adding a track.
Here we go.
All right.
Yes.
So anyway,
It's
And
the
we'll
old way
share.
of doing the editing track.
I didn't want to sit through the whole thing. I started to sweat, you know.
That was an
But you got a
analog.
flavor of it, of a cappella.
I
Oh,
loved
yeah,
it,
magnificent.
Loved it. Hi, Lori. How are you?
Hi, Lori.
everybody.
Good to see you.
Hello, Lori. So, Lisa, how has the Grammys adapted to music in the digital age?
Well, right now we take, this just happened a couple years ago, we accepted digital entries. Up until that point, we were accepting CDs for entry. But really now everybody's digital. I think that, when I'm looking through entries and trying to verify stuff online, most everything is available on Spotify these days. I think we're probably at about, in my categories, I can just say it's in the high 90% that everybody at least can throw it up there.
Well-
and like Bob was saying too, I mean, it's so great because it's such. This time is a great platform for musicians. As a writer. With books, it's the same thing with self-publishing, but I don't think that self-publishing is caught up to music, self-publishing music online. I think self-publishing books still has a weird stigma to it, and I think it's probably the big book publishers that keep that stigma going. Like, if you're not with us, then you're nothing. But music has opened itself up.
Yes.
And indie labels are cool. Artists doing their own thing is cool. And some point, books will get to that point, I
Yeah,
hope.
and also, and podcasts sort of began at that level because
Right.
they didn't come from any kind of old paradigm. They created themselves out of sort of being different, separate, and distinct from radio.
Right.
So,
Right.
But now they're being sort of moving into the companies and.
But
Yeah.
Weezy,
And
I
the
just got
networks.
assigned to
You're
Decca,
right.
so I'm surprised that you say that.
I'm on dot.
You're on dot.
I'm
I'm on
dot.
Monument.
But that's true. Like podcasts, it's the same thing. Whereas, when they first started and there was radio, people go, "Oh, podcast, you're just doing this little thing out of your thing."
Yeah.
But now it's popular and it's cool. And again, books will eventually catch up to that. I just don't know if they're quite there yet.
They
But-
absolutely have to.
But I think most people are doing some form of digital music these days.
So the Grammys is about so much more than their annual award show. That's how most people are exposed to the Grammys. But what are you guys doing all year long to help promote music and musicians?
Oh my gosh, we have so much. I would just say go to Grammy.com is your best bet, and look around and see all that we do. We have Music Cares, which is a great foundation for musicians.
It is, yeah.
They do really great work. We have Grammy in the schools. We have Grammy U. Those are all helping students, with music. We just did the Grammys on the Hill, where we just passed the Music Modernization Act. You can read about that. It was a
That was a big deal.
It was a big deal. It was over 10 years.
Big deal.
And to get the full thing on it, it's better if you just read about it, because I probably wouldn't do it justice to try to explain it.
I've done the announcing for the Grammy Awards several times, and the first time that I did it, first couple of times I did it, there was no Grammy.com at the time. And we would have to, we would say, or I would say, in ceremonies held earlier this evening, Grammys were given to, right. And it would, during going, you had maybe about 30 seconds to rattle off, and it would be a category like
Acapella.
Acapella or
that's one of them.
German composers, you know, that you would have to pronounce these names, and it was like, oh my gosh, it would take forever to learn how to pronounce their names.
Oh yeah, some of the classical names are hard.
Classical,
it's
that
hard
was unbelievable.
in the classical
and now,
categories. Yeah.
when you do the announcing for the Grammys, you'd say in ceremonies held earlier this evening, awards were given to this category. Go to Grammy.com to find out more. It's like, darn.
To learn how to pronounce the name.
Or just to read it. But I mean, yeah, we do. There's so much that the Recording Academy does. We are the Recording Academy. That is our umbrella. The Grammys are only one thing that we do within this entire company.
And not too long ago, you started doing, I actually announced the very first Grammy nomination show, which, you know, there was nothing done with that before. It was just, there was just an announcement. Now they do a live show.
We did. We haven't.
We're not doing it anymore?
We haven't done it in a couple of years, but we did.
Okay.
We used
Joe,
to do.
you killed it.
Well, we have different ways.
We
have different ways of doing it now. There's different things.
I thought it was brilliant to do that.
I have a question. Yeah, a lot of people think when you think of the Grammys and submitting to the Grammys and for your song, that it goes to New York, let's say, and it's picked up by a committee of 10, and they listen and decide. But with this question, I think this is more real, right? How do you, if you have a song, how do you, as the artist, get to those 13,000 Grammy voters? You know,
that's a hard thing. I don't know how to even explain that. I don't know. I can't say.
How does that happen? How do they get wind of what's up? Because you could have so many entries. I'm talking about for the nomination.
Yeah.
Right, just nominated. Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Well, we get
Or
about
submitted, I guess it would be
22,000
called.
entries a year.
How many?
22,000.
And there you go.
But I'm just guessing that it used to be maybe that you guys based it on sales or charts or. But what are charts even?
Oh no, it's all voting. It's voting by our membership.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the membership votes on it's a peer award. So it's all voted on by membership. It has nothing to do with charts, nothing to do with.
But is there a
Really?
requirement for? Can anyone submit?
Anybody.
Anyone can submit if you got
To
the
any
money.
category.
Well, you have to be a Recording Academy member to make the submission, or
that's right.
a registered media company.
So it's a
Right.
secret
Right.
recipe, just like getting our film on Netflix is a secret recipe.
And there is a fee. I mean, there's some processing fee or
But
something.
now
Well, there
for
is.
if you're a member, when you're
free for
a
member.
member of the Recording Academy, it's free with your membership to submit. But there are fees it's a small fee for media companies.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm a person who's in the Academy, how many can I be expected to have to review and conscionably
As a judge.
vote on? Yeah, exactly. So how many will I be expecting this year? Say how many would you have to hear?
Well, it depends. I do jazz. I do jazz and comedy, and I had approximately 1,200 in my jazz that I had to go through, and we verify everything for
And can I ask you,
content and.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I kind of do. What happens? Like, how, do you sit there and say, "I'm going to listen to this"? What is it? An album?
The
or a song?
entire.
So do you go through it once, and then do you winnow down? Say, "I'm going to listen to this one again." How does that kind of work?
No, we just go through to make sure it's jazz, or I'm just
Okay.
going to give you my own.
Sure, please.
My own deal. So we just go
Yeah,
through
those people that lie about being
and
jazz.
make sure
Like,
that
you're not
it's
jazz.
You're not
You're not
jazz.
nothing.
People can think they're jazz and they're
Yeah.
not jazz. But I mean, like, you just go through and on the first basic level, we just go through and we screen and we make sure there's all kinds of things you have to meet. Our eligibility period, was it released during a certain time? Was it recorded within the past 5 years? And then I go through and do a sort of cursory listen to say, is this jazz? Then we have screening committees. We just did these this
I
past
want to go
weekend.
to the Is This Jazz meeting. Please. I want to go to one Is This Jazz meeting.
This is
There's
nuts.
this
It,
everything.
it looks like
meetings.
this. She goes, "Is there a $20 bill?" Nope, not jazz.
But what does it have to be jazz?
It has to be jazz. It has to have improvisation.
Okay.
It has to. It just has to meet the jazz criteria.
Does Tony Bennett
criteria.
come in and go, that's not jazz?
I know jazz.
I actually
I
have
know jazz when I see it.
So I followed Kanye West on Twitter. So I have an answer to your question, which is the Illuminati.
What's the Illuminati?
It runs everything.
Yeah.
Is that like the deep state?
It's a new Bravo show.
Okay.
Should we show them the handshake, Joe?
That's right.
But
I just know I want to know how to watch out for it.
And now I know that there are debates about what is jazz. So that's
There you
good.
go.
I'm learning something new every day.
We skipped submitting this year for the Grammys. We're going to wait 1 year because of that Illuminati issue.
Yeah. You want to
We'll
get
let that
tied into
play
that.
out.
Yes, exactly.
So, Bob,
Yeah.
for acts
So,
that
Bob.
I like to call acts like yours a legacy act. That you
Oh, that's
know,
a nice word.
Way before the internet, and then everyone has the internet now. It's sitting on a desk in their home,
Straddling both worlds, yes.
or here. And so, for acts like you that were popular before the internet, how are fans using the internet to rediscover you and your music?
Oh,
Do they
well,
just
that-
Google the Cowsills? Is that all that's required?
Well, no, because if you just Google the Cowsills, they have an algorithm about us that is negative. No, that's not true. But yeah, look, everyone goes to Google first. Admit it. And it's just the way it is.
Right.
And then you go to YouTube. These are the top two places. And so your job is to have a presence. What it point to?
Oh, it's
Go.
like it's the
There it
Cowsills
is.
on Google.
Yeah, if you
Oh,
do
they're there.
Cowsills,
Yeah.
there's so much stuff. I've seen things I didn't know were up there, but because your
I actually
audience
have an answer. The Cowsills are run by the Illuminati. So
See, there's a theme going on.
But look,
No.
like Google is like a jukebox.
the thing is,
does. It looks cool.
When you perform and you go and you do your concerts, and I'm telling you, 100% of the time, okay, we performed Friday night at New Jersey, okay, at the PNC Bank Center. On YouTube right now are 10 songs from that show. They were there that night before we got back to the hotel. Your audience is going to put you. YouTube has made all of us better performers because in the beginning it was, now don't put this on YouTube. And
That's
that
what he
turned
used to
into,
yell-
you
he
better
used to-
sing sharp, and you better
Exactly.
sing on key and not screw up because
He
it's
used to-
going on YouTube.
He used to just yell at me because, well, he still yells at me. But I mean, I would put stuff online. He'd be like, "No," because he's a
But
perfectionist.
in the early days,
like
we all
Jack.
thought we could control that.
Well, yeah, exactly. Sure.
And then when you realize you can't, then you turn inward and you go, okay, I'm not going to be able to control this.
Everyone is walking around with a recording studio and a television studio in their pocket.
Oh, I tell my kids, assume you're being recorded and taped everywhere you go in your life. There.
Yeah.
Now
Oh,
go,
I just
go
had-
out and live now.
Kind of
And,
feels
and
like
they
it
beat
here.
up way less people now.
Wait, we haven't heard from the Illuminati for a few minutes.
Oh, sorry. All right. So no.
This just in.
So I have had that happen before where I had somebody nonchalantly tell me, "Oh, hey, I filmed your set and I put it on YouTube." And I like literally took a step back and I was like, I didn't okay that. And also it's still on there. It's a Huntington Beach set. And you
Let's
can't,
find it. Can we
you
find that?
Oh, they stay
can't
forever.
Hear anything,
Oh.
and it's
boy,
so dark. It's so
Right.
like hard to see what's going on, and people will now say like,
It
"Hey,
poorly represents you.
yeah."
Yeah.
And I just thought I was so weirded out by that like somebody thought, "Oh, this is fine." For me
But
to
does
do
everyone
that.
think that that's even more invasive for a stand-up comedian than it is for a musician? Like, I think musicians have pretty much accepted that that's going to happen.
You're going up.
Is
Because,
that,
but you sing the same. You sing your songs,
You
and
sing it better.
and they can't go home and sing your song. But if someone records her jokes, they could maybe tell her joke, right?
Well, I started
So
every
does-
joke with
Oh, you
this
mean
is
like steal
my
the
joke
material?
Yeah.
by Rogging Camp. I name stamp all my jokes with my birthday. So.
Oh, wait, they have it. Well, let's see if we can understand.
Here we go.
There we go.
Oh, I see what you
Oh,
mean.
Lori, you've never looked
Oh,
lovelier.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah. And also, I will say that it's not shown there, but that is a T-shirt sleeve that I used to wear in my 20s. I had this thing where I would cut the sleeves of my T-shirts, and I used to wear that. So that was the fashion. That's my fashion sense. So people, a lot of, or I think some comments I remember seeing were like, "Why is she wearing a beanie?" And I'm like, "It's not a beanie.
All
It's
the
a T-shirt
Illuminati
sleeve."
wear
All
beanies.
You mean
right?
it's a T-shirt sleeve on your head?
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I
But you know
see.
what they will take from this? That you get a lot of laughs, because I'm hearing a lot of
I'm hearing a
people
lot of
laugh.
laughs, Lane.
Yeah.
The good news is you have plausible deniability because you can't tell this is anyone. So you can be like, that's
Not
not me.
before
I
today.
don't know. It's got, yeah,
Somebody
that's true.
impersonating you.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
I can be like, no,
All
that's
right.
old time Patrice O'Neill. The Illuminati edited the footage.
But when do you go home and go, hey, I wonder who recorded us tonight? Or do you say, I don't want to look?
No, I look at all YouTubes. I mean, if you're serious, you do. And look, you're going to get some kid's phone in one position, and you're going to look at one angle. But it's all about how does it sound
For you,
because
yeah.
people are going to hear how you sound. They know, okay, they look like that. Okay, but the other big difference is, and we tour all summer, 50 cities, and at Ticketmaster and all these online places, your audience. The comments after any of these comments go on and on and on. Your audience is chiming in. You're hearing from your audience. In the old days, you didn't hear from the audience. They were there. You were there. One newspaper writer gave an opinion. They all accepted it.
That's
you
right.
said, "Oh, he's full of it," and you just got on with life.
Wow.
Now your audience is chiming in. All through the summer, the reviews of that show we do are coming in daily, and it's just the audience. You got to get used to that. No, you just had to get
from
used
all
to it.
different perspectives,
Right.
too.
And
yeah.
do you not marvel at how good we've become at sort of curating the comments, like the ones that are obviously fake or this person's obviously angry, from the people who are really trying to make good comments? We've become very good and discerning about reading comments. Do you not find that to be true?
I read all comments.
You do?
Well,
I do. I read them all because they're chiming in. I want to hear
Well,
what those people are thinking.
I hate to be a grammar snob, but I think it's a good indicator of how drunk they were when they typed it. Maybe.
I will say that I think it's not necessarily that we become better at it. I think people have become better at writing comments. You know, like before it's like, you know, you realize when somebody's actually putting in effort when they'll like make sure punctuation is correct. They'll make sure it's not just a complete run-on sentence. Whereas if somebody's just wanting to like be like an asshole and just type like the Illuminati's real, it's all like capital
I'm sitting
letters.
right here.
Yeah.
I wish you wouldn't do that.
Stop commenting on my YouTube page.
Embarrassing.
We're going to
Jack.
have to do a show about the Illuminati. I need to learn
I've
more.
just been watching a lot of. Sorry, I brought that in here.
It's Kanye.
It's all
one
yours.
Thing,
You own it.
One thing that I thought was interesting from you two is that it seems like that social media has actually helped, which I find interesting. Like I thought that for one would thought that in the music industry, especially social like streaming service and stuff, you would say had hurt your platform, but you're saying that it's actually helping.
It's expanded it because you can't. Look, we're lucky. We arrive with a foundation. Okay, we're not starting from scratch. We're not. You know, we did something, and so we arrive with a foundation. But if you get that luckiness like we had, then this is all ready to use. The YouTube presence on us, we know when we're booked, someone wants to book us, we know where they go, you know, and we know how long they stay there probably because they've told us. And so this is your audition, this is your calling card.
Resume.
I mean, these people have it made today, in my opinion. Look, the songs have to be good. Your music, band has to be great. Look, American Idol, all these shows, The Voice, they proved you got a lot of talent out there, so you're up against it. So you have to differentiate yourself. But the use of these social media platforms is so powerful. I just think it's a great opportunity. If you're good, you will surface.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. We posted the question on my Facebook page, how are people finding music? And I'm going to read to you some of the responses. My friend Deb Giron wrote, she uses soundtracks on shows. I watch, or a cool tune in a commercial will pique my interest. I'll check out their video online and maybe share it on Facebook. We used to go regularly to our local skate world and hear the new jams, LOL.
Skate world.
But they closed down last month. So, you know, I think it used to be like if you heard a song you liked, you'd have to continue humming it and continue humming it until you got to the record store.
Go to the record store and try to hum it. Yeah.
And now it's like if you remember like 3 words in a line and Google them.
Google that.
it
Or even the notes. you can do that now too.
Really?
Right? Oh yeah. What's that service been around for years now?
Shazam.
Shazam. Thank you.
But or there was a time where you would you couldn't wait for that song to come on the radio.
Yeah.
Like you would listen to the radio for hours for Billy Don't Be a Hero to come on the radio.
Billy, don't be a hero.
Don't be a fool with your life.
Whoa, Donaldson in the Haywoods. Holy
Come back
cow.
and make me your wife.
Or they used to have those things that I loved on the radio where they would do, it would be double time, where they would play the song twice in a row.
Oh, yeah.
And
Instant replay.
And so they would be like, you heard it one more tour. And so that would be exciting because you were like, they're going to play Weezer twice. And you would just like literally wait. And it was at 4 o'clock. And you would just sit and wait at 4 o'clock and then hear the song and be like, they played Weezer twice. And then that was it.
Look at what you're all describing. Look what this has done to us. Everyone's displaying patience in these days. Everyone's displaying, I can wait for this, it's coming. But
Delayed gratification.
today,
Gotta have it now.
it's
No.
now immediate.
And it's also the sense of entitlement because, like, I have all of this extra Cowsills footage from the movie that never made it into the movie, like all these rough cuts that I was doing. And finally I asked the Cowsills, like, can I just, this is some really cool stuff. It's not in the movie. Can I just put it up online? And they signed off on all of them. All right, put it. And now I get these, like, this is unlistenable because the levels have not been balanced. I was like, dude, it's free. And I'm not, this is like from 7 computers ago, 100 versions of Final Cut ago. I don't know where the original files are. I couldn't retrace this and remix it if I...
But look at that person. That person got to opinionate.
Yeah.
No one ever heard from that person in the old days. They lived there, and we don't know who you are. Buy our record. Now you're dialoguing with this person.
know, but
and you're
But
sending
it's a
in an
simple
opinion.
question. Why didn't you balance it? We just have to stay here until you answer my
I
question.
love
Golly.
that.
I
love
think
it.
you're just an optimist now. I have a feeling that if you were ever kidnapped, you're like, I'm meeting new people.
That's right, Bob is. Bob is
good.
Live from the capture den. Absolutely.
Nicely done.
All right, so Joey Backlar writes, with an exclamation point at the end, BandCamp. So what is
is
BandCamp
this
and why
one time-
is Joey so enthusiastic about BandCamp?
I can answer
There
that.
was this
Oh,
time
okay.
in BandCamp. Go ahead.
I'll give you an answer. Friday night, we played with Cousin Brucey, 8,000 people at PNC Bank
Cousin
Center.
Cousin Brucey was there?
Yeah, the opening act were 5 kids from 12 to 15 that were put together by a band camp.
Okay.
So each of them are sharp. Each of them are technically, wow, look
Yeah.
at these kids, the girls singing just like a professional, doing all the moves. It was a little sterile, but they'll get passion later.
Choreographed.
Maybe. But what these camps do is find really good musicians, and these kids played in front of 5,000 people.
Amazing.
great.
Yeah.
I mean, with a big sound system, and I felt so good for them, and they were loving it.
Did they have the in-ear monitors and everything too?
No, they used the way we do it, monitors.
Cool.
We explained that
Floor monitors,
we're an oldies show, so we're gonna have floor monitors, and you're gonna feel this, okay?
Okay,
that.
there's BandCamp. Now, what happens on BandCamp? You go on there, and what happens?
Fans have paid $325 million using Bandcamp. That's what Bandcamp's
Yeah,
all
so
about.
you can put up your band's song. And
Okay.
before Spotify got a little more democratic, this was kind of this and SoundCloud were the best ways to get
Your own. up.
your own not
Okay.
not licensed.
Is it like Patreon that you can build a fan base and stuff?
Yeah, sort of basically. A lot of artists will put their album up and then it's buy, and some have minimums, but usually it's just name your price.
I
Like
mean,
if you want to pay $5, you get the album, that kind of stuff.
This was a generational thing. I thought Bandcamp was what the camps where the kids go to get good at playing their instruments.
Yeah, they
But
are.
Bandcamp is where a new band can put up all of their recordings if they want to, and videos too,
Yeah.
and hope to be found. There you go.
Cool. And then
are there things you can do within Bandcamp to increase your visibility? Do they have buy-ups and stuff like that you can do, or is it just your skill set?
I wouldn't know, Lane. I presume you don't know
What's
either.
the
'cause I've never had a
business?
band.
What's
but
the business plan?
the
of
business
Bandcamp?
model?
It's called. it's
What are
called
their
Hype
ins and
Camp.
outs? What's their output revenue?
Yeah.
Could you guys please answer all those questions?
But they could have a camp, like Bob was saying, associated with
Oh
it.
no,
where
those
they-
camps are out there. I see them all over the place.
Yeah.
So they could have
David
Bandcamp
Landau
camp.
writes he finds music at David Landau writes he finds music at KCRW, a
That's a
soundtrack,
great station.
random searches on iTunes, and I share music with friends by making old school mixtapes on CD.
Wow, that's
Wow.
cool.
I don't have a machine that would play a CD still. Does anyone else?
I do.
You do?
But it's my Blu-ray player basically.
Oh, okay.
Cassettes are coming back. I'm not kidding.
Really?
So are
Yeah.
albums.
Really?
Yeah. Because I mean, vinyl's back,
Vinyl
right?
is.
Vinyl's
Yeah.
back.
A lot of
and
people on BandCamp
with
sell
a,
cassettes.
and the Pledge Music thing I did last
There's
night.
your revenue.
They're putting their album out on vinyl, and it's expensive to make it, so that's why they were doing their Pledge Music. But cassettes are
But why
making a comeback.
cassettes? Is it
Yeah.
I
better
don't know.
fidelity?
Because they
Is
want
it a
that
lot?
Kids
sound?
just
No.
think they're cool.
Kids
Yeah.
They
oh,
got-
I
the
think it's
fidelity
13
better.
Reasons Why.
They got retro.
They got retro.
They're
yeah,
old
they're
enough
back.
now that they're like vinyl.
Or they're
Like,
selling
I-
special
'cause-
pencils
but
that you
people
can use
are
to
like,
I
wind
was
them
just going to
down.
say, our skill now of being able to
Right.
twirl the tape with your
But they're
pencil.
producing music on cassettes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Wow,
It's
producing.
the worst. It's
Yeah,
the worst
that's just-
quality music.
I don't get that. It's not even like the benefit is like it's like with vinyl. It's like it sounds good.
Right.
So that's the benefit,
Yeah.
and then it's like, but with cassettes, it's like it just sounds crappy.
But with
Right.
8-track, you really get to like interrupt the song
Right in the
halfway
middle
through.
of the song.
And that would be awesome.
I think it's
Yeah.
because we like it's our generation like what we remember. Like, because I remember like that was like the first medium that I like bought a cassette. So
Yeah.
it's like vinyl where it's like I'm like reliving my youth,
Yeah.
but they're just old enough.
Like
they're
you-
like they just got into the
But
The
cusp of-
cassettes are the vinyls of another generation.
But
There
see,
you
what's
go. Good one,
frustrating
Bob.
to me is it's like I understand nostalgia, but at some point you gotta go. I remember that it sucked. You know, like
There was a reason why we don't use
yeah,
this
like
anymore.
I'm nostalgic for things that I missed that were kind of good. I remember cassettes being the biggest pain in the butt, and like it always came on, and you had to crank it with a eraser or
Right.
something, and like it was just so, it's like saying, oh, I'm nostalgic for being grounded. Like it just doesn't make any sense.
I'm pretty
to me.
pro cassette. I'll say it. Like,
What do you like
What
that?
do you like about it?
Pro cassette.
pro cassette.
Yeah.
I feel like
He's
it's
part of the
just
Illuminati.
a way of supporting like smaller artists that if they can do that.
But isn't that going to be more expensive than recording
Wouldn't they
in the
just
box?
do it like on a streaming service?
I mean, it's just a way to you get an item. It's kind of like buying a pin or a shirt or something at like a concert. It's like
Okay.
I mean, I'm paying like $35 for a T-shirt that's probably costs like $2 to make, but like
Yeah.
you're supporting the band. So it's
And
like they
the
make
Illuminati who get 10%.
right, and the Illuminati. You want to make sure they
always,
get 5%.
always.
Paul Paradiso wrote, I am on SoundCloud, plus I follow a lot of DJs, artists, and industry folk on social media who turn me on to other artists, as well as poring over iTunes and Billboard every Tuesday to see what's new. So, Lisa, what do you know about Billboard and the charts? How do they compile their data? How do they determine now when there's so many people streaming music? What are the number?
That's a good question.
What are the
Yeah.
top 20 songs?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah. How do they?
I don't know.
What's the
There's so much that goes on.
algorithm?
I don't even know how you track. Well, I mean, here's the deal. You could track. I mean, it's so easy to track videos and stuff these days because the counts are right up there. You
Right.
see, you see how many views they have. You see, and I don't know if I don't think Spotify does that, does it? But I'm sure that there's an easy way to find out how many,
Yes, how many plays?
hits and plays
Sure.
something gets. So it's probably way easier now to do that with digital media than
That's
it
a good
is.
point.
But I
with
wonder, Billboard
radio.
was always based on sales, right? I
It's
wonder if
gotta
it's
still
still
be
based
so.
on
I
sales.
It was
say it
40% sales and 60% you'd call up radio stations and ask them. And here's where sort of like the shadiness came in, is where because I worked at radio stations and they didn't always tell the truth. So like a record label could sort of like give them an artist in concert in exchange for saying that they played something more than they actually played something. They were called paper ads, and they would say they had added a record that they weren't actually playing in exchange for getting favors from the record label. So I hope I haven't shared such a horrible.
Well, that was the payola days,
Yeah,
right?
payola.
It was
Wasn't that,
payola days and everything. So I'm sure there's some sort of digital trickery that's going on. It's just human nature to try and game something or kind of spin it or skew it in your favor.
Well, that's sort of like when people buy Twitter followers. You
Yes,
can buy
exactly.
20,000
Twitter
Twitter
and
followers easy.
You can't do
Instagram.
that anymore, I thought, though.
No?
I don't.
but you know
can
what? You know what I
Get rid
learned
of
the
it.
hard way, Lisa? They won't hang out with you.
They won't. Wait a minute, I
No.
found something online. The Hot 100 is ranked by radio airplay audience impressions as measured by Nielsen BDS, sales data compiled by Nielsen SoundScan. You know about SoundScan, don't you? Both at retail and digitally, and streaming activity provided by online music sources.
So Nielsen is they have people to design to see what they listen to, kind of like with TV, where they'll give them.
Yeah, still listening.
Nielsen is the radio, what used to be Arbitron, used to do the ratings for radio, now is Nielsen.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
that's
we have
crazy.
services like iSpot, which show you exactly how many times a commercial has aired and in what markets and how much the spend was and all that, too, which is incredibly useful
That
metrics.
that is great.
Everyone wants data.
Everyone wants data.
Data? Would you like some data, sir?
And no one wants to pay for it.
All right, Jack, do you have your script ready?
I
Or
do.
Joe? Because we're going to do the number one list of the week. Because as you know, Bob and Lisa, the internet loves lists.
lists?
They love it.
I'm on lists.
Are we starting
Yeah.
at?
Yeah, unfortunately, I did this in the wrong order, so,
So
we'll just start at number one.
Okay.
We can go to 10. It's easy.
Do you really?
Yeah, we can go backwards.
Oh,
Number
this is going to
10
be challenging,
is
though. Go ahead.
Last FM or Last.fm. Track
Okay.
what you listen to. Last FM puts a big focus on its music recommendations, which means you can search the great music you like at Last.fm. That's number 10.
Last.fm. There it is.
That's cool.
Number 9.
Number 9 is Pandora, as we were discussing earlier. American Music Radio. Pandora is a music streaming and automated music recommendation service, which is only available in the U.S., Australia, and New Zealand. I didn't know that. Today, it has 30 million songs in the search box, and it creates stations for you based on one artist, genre, or song. For example, Cowsills Radio.
Ah.
And I have Cowsills Radio on my Pandora.
Do
It
you?
can happen.
And it's great, yeah.
Number 8,
It will
please.
always start with a Cowsill song or Maroon 5 or whatever you put in. It will
Oh, wait,
always
I don't
start.
even have my glasses on. Am I supposed
Oh,
to
I
read?
can do it, yeah.
Number
Number
eight.
8.
Geez, I did not realize.
I'll just tell you.
It's small.
I can't see anything.
Yeah.
Can you see
Number
that?
8 is SoundCloud, the biggest music creator community. SoundCloud is an online music streaming service based in Germany, which enables users to upload, record, promote, and share their original songs. You can still stream the music on the site, but you are not allowed to download the songs.
Now, I'd heard a lot about SoundCloud not being around anymore. So what happened about
Oh, no, they're
that?
around.
I think Germany
Yeah.
bought it.
Oh, so somebody just bought it?
Germany
I'm going to do
bought
number
it.
7.
I think SoundCloud's fine for now, but I don't
I
know
don't
that-
like SoundCloud because of the autoplay. You can't turn it off, right? It's just, or you can get in and hack it, probably. But it
SoundCloud
just,
is
it just
it's
goes and goes and goes.
SoundCloud is a great place
you can
to
turn it off.
upload any
Can you?
sound file that you find and even put it on private and not lose it. Because I found that sound files kind of get eaten up by iTunes if that's your default, and then you have a sound file and you can't find it because it's somewhere hidden
Right.
in
I
iTunes.
know
So
what you mean.
if you
Yeah.
have a SoundCloud account, you can just sort of store sound files there and know where they are. Like all the interviews that I did with celebrities when I worked at Premiere, I've just loaded them all up onto SoundCloud, like 50 of
Oh,
them.
that's a good
So
idea.
they're there. Yeah.
Yeah, I have one somewhere. Now, it's funny. I don't remember where I put it, but it's on some app. It's my Donny Osmond interview.
There you
that
go.
was-
See, isn't it good to know where that is?
Yeah, I have no idea where it is.
All right.
But if I had my own SoundCloud station, okay, I have my glasses on now. I can
Oh,
do
good.
number 7. Google Play Music. Bring your own music collection. 6 years ago, Google launched Google Play Music, which allows you to listen to your favorite song and store your music collection. You can also create playlists, listen to radio, and more. I like Google Play Music. I'm a Google girl. Everything I do is Google-based.
Oh, really?
I like that
I
Google
use the Google
girl.
Calendar.
That's a song
I use the
right
Google.
there.
I like the Google.
Whoever does number 6 has got the original, the originator.
right.
Bob
of
has
digital
it.
downloading.
Bob's got this one.
Napster caused all the initial trouble.
Oh, yes.
All the initial trouble.
Sean, what's his name? The guy who wrote Napster.
His name is
Sean
Justin
Parker?
Timberlake.
Well, now he's just
Napster was ahead of its time, just mishandled itself. But now we're all good. Napster, known as Rhapsody, is an online music store subscription service based in Seattle. With Napster, you can play as much music as you want instantly and anywhere. It has 32 million tracks and 2.5 million users.
So does this mean that Rhapsody bought Napster,
I
or that
guess so.
Napster bought Rhapsody?
Oh,
No,
good question.
Rhapsody bought Napster.
Okay, because I
Yeah.
really like Rhapsody. That was early. They were ahead of Spotify, and I really.
Rhapsody.
All right. Number 5 is Tidal. High fidelity sound quality. Tidal has over 48.5 million tracks and 175,000 music videos. Tidal claims that they pay the highest percentage of royalties to music artists and writers in the music streaming market.
Who was the artist that started Tidal?
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
And can somebody tell
Jay-Z.
me what the streaming quality is with Tidal? If they claim to be high quality, is it particularly high?
It's like everything with Jay-Z, a lot of hype and not a lot of, not a lot of payoff.
But don't all these places have the same songs? I mean, what are we fighting for here?
I think what we're fighting for is
mean-
like, how does it work? Can you create your own playlist
Oh,
and
okay.
customize
Maybe
it?
ease of use
Does it
and-
suggest other songs you may like? Does it have videos?
I want to hear
With Tidal specifically, it like more towards the hip hop sphere and gets
Okay.
exclusives. So like a lot like Kanye's album a couple albums back was like only on Tidal for like the first 2 months.
I see.
that's
Right.
And so like they
exclusivity.
just because like Jay-Z knows everyone, they get like really good
Yeah.
exclusive deals.
Would
so
any
that
of these also have special programming, interviews with the artists, that type of thing?
maybe?
Spotify does. Spotify has actually their own series on where you can watch video where they interview artists.
Cool.
That's
And
very
stuff.
cool.
And it's like they have a couple of series. One of them is they interview artists on their way I think, on their way to a recording, and then they also record a song while they're
Oh, my
interviewing
cousin
That's
Jim works
interesting.
on those.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, he does. Jim Frankel.
So they, but they've actually come out with their own. I personally like Spotify because you can create playlists and share playlists with more people.
Yeah, I like Spotify as well.
So that's the one that I pretty much.
Joe
go
has
with.
never shared a playlist with me. I'm just saying.
Sorry, Jack. Yeah. Number 4
Number 3 or number 4? Yeah.
is Deezer. Now, no Wi-Fi streaming. Interesting.
Okay.
Deezer is a music streaming service. Wait a minute. Oh, okay, but you can't stream over Wi-Fi? Deezer is a music streaming service created in Paris. Currently, Deezer has 40 million licensed tracks, over 30,000 radio channels, and 16 million actively users.
There's a lot of typos in here. Because
Yeah, as of Jan 29, 2017, Deezer has 6 million paid subscribers,
Wow.
who are also known as chumps.
Yeah, what are they paying for?
Exactly. Yeah.
maybe you you sit in one sort of like Paris cafe
It's
on a
totally French. You
sidewalk,
wouldn't understand.
and you just have like a cord that plugs in, and everyone just sits
No
there.
Wi-Fi.
And it's
No
the,
Wi-Fi.
It's and they just sort of sip cappuccinos
Yes.
and write their novel.
Exactly.
Did you listen to the Dessert today?
Yes.
That's what happens. Go ahead, Jack.
Number 3, Amazon Music, exclusive Echo plan. If you are Amazon Echo owners, like we know Joe is,
Oh,
you
my.
can listen to tens of millions of Amazon Music Unlimited songs, presumably on Echo, Echo Dot, Echo Show, Echo Look, or Amazon Tap, or
Not Spotify.
not Spotify.
It is the best. All
You
the
like
time.
it.
I say,
So it's the
I
best.
say, Alexa, play 70s soul music for the dogs.
Right.
And when I leave the house, the dogs get 70s soul music. But apparently dogs, by the way, so you know, love reggae. I did not know.
Oh, do they?
Our dog sitter told us that you should play reggae for your dogs when you leave the house.
You have
That
cool
is
dogs.
an
Very
important
cool.
fact.
Your dogs are
It
stoners.
calms them.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I
Yeah.
always ask for at 70s any kind of music.
Do you like braid their hair?
Yeah, we do. All my dogs have dreads.
Okay.
Wait,
like
am I-
Roofman, Roof.
I'm number 2.
I'm
Apple
gonna,
Music.
Bob's going to do number 1. Get
Okay.
ready.
Good.
Okay.
Oh, are we at number 1?
No,
Not
first,
yet.
you're
Number
next.
2.
Lisa.
Number 2, Apple Music, best for iOS users. Apple Music is a music streaming service launched in 2015, and it becomes the second biggest music streaming service after Spotify with 28 million subscribers. Users can listen to the music on platforms like Mac OS, iOS, tvOS, watchOS, OSOS.
OSOS.
SOS. Yes, Apple Music only works on iOS system.
And that's
why
an
I'm a Go-Go
important,
girl.
that's an important fact.
That is why I am a
I
Go-Go
do
girl.
have that, so I'm one of those 28 million.
Cool.
Yeah.
Bob, number 1.
And now Bob. Drum roll.
Wow, number 1, and we're going to find out there are only 4 record labels left. All right, with Spotify, you can stream the music for free from the big 4 record labels: Sony, EMI, Warner, and Universal. That's our record label, along with other nice independent labels.
Nice.
We all
Nice.
picked up
Very
on nice.
pleasant.
Very nice.
Very pleasant.
Search,
Nice.
browse, and discover the
Not the
music.
mean ones. We do not like the mean ones.
Nice label.
Search, browse, and discover the music you like on Spotify. That sounds like everywhere else. Millions of tracks for free shuffle play. Sounds like everywhere else. Playlist, new release, and top chart that match your mood. They're going to match my mood.
You get a ring that goes with it to
First
show
time
you.
I got a ring and a watch.
Yeah.
A Spotify Premium, $9.99 a month. Oh, so you do pay.
Well, they have a free service, and I can
Yeah.
talk to the boys about the differences because I don't know.
I think you get rid of the commercials, right?
Yeah,
if you
no
pay.
commercials,
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
and you can listen mobile. Like if you have Spotify Premium, you can pull up your playlists and everything.
All right, even Hotmail
On
has a
phone.
fee if you don't want those ads. All right, with the premium plan, you can stream high quality music.
Who still uses
apparently
Hotmail?
not junk, without ads. That's the important thing. And you can listen to the tracks offline.
Mm-hmm.
So you also can choose the student discount, $4.99 a month. Save yourself a big fiver
you
there.
lie?
And
Sure.
family premium, $14.99 for the whole family, according to your needs.
Nice.
So Spotify is in the lead, correct?
Seems
I
to
guess
be.
so.
I'm kind of old school in that I pick the songs I want on iTunes. I support the artist by purchasing the songs. I just buy the album. If it's an artist that I like Jason Mraz or the Cowsills, I just buy the album, and then it's in. Maybe I'm old school to think that I need to own the music.
I'm the same way. I like to have the music because I also like to hear it at very high
Support
res.
the musicians. Support the musicians. Everybody support the musicians.
Absolutely. It's like that's Willie Nelson's new album. I want to have bought that.
And how's he going to get
what?
his 8th boat if you don't buy the album? Come on, help
You know
him
what I
out.
will say?
Well, that boat goes to the IRS. I think the 9th
That's
boat
right.
he gets.
Yeah.
That's right.
He gets boat number 9.
And the IRS is part of the Illuminati. So
I get it.
I actually buy the albums.
Yeah,
I do. But the problem is that if I want to download those on my phone, it takes up memory. So I oftentimes will listen to streaming services more anyways.
It's true.
Even though you bought it.
Even though I bought it, because
Right.
I don't want to have to download the
Yeah,
song.
You can
Right.
keep it in
Good
the
point.
cloud, and the cloud knows
You can keep it in the cloud, and if I have Wi-Fi access, I'll access my phone, or if I'm on my computer, I'll go to my iTunes.
Or if you go to
whatever.
Paris, you could just plug your phone in at the cafe.
Yeah, exactly.
Le désir.
But,
No Wi-Fi.
but I also like what I also like about Spotify, which is why I use Spotify a lot, is that when you listen to a certain amount of songs, what they'll do is every day they'll compile a list of songs that you might like based off the songs that you listen to. So I find a lot of music, new music that I haven't heard of, based off of songs that
Right.
I like. And then if I really like it, I'll go buy the album or buy a couple of songs from them.
So
Very
we've had
good.
this whole conversation.
Yes.
And has anyone talked about, I listen to the radio, and if I like this... Does anyone listen to the radio?
I do. I'm in love with radio
I
still
do.
since I was a kid, so I don't think I'll ever lose.
But I don't think a lot
I'm a
of
serious
you guys probably don't listen to radio, right? Broadcast? No.
do you
Do
know
you
what
listen
you know
to
what
Sirius
it is?
ever
What
in your
was
car?
was
no.
the KCRW,
KCRW.
that Northridge station?
Yeah, it's interesting
Okay,
that a few people mentioned...
They play a really good selection of
Absolutely.
new music, local music, all kinds of stuff.
I think that people, probably young people, will listen to it, but they access it online rather than
Yeah.
listen.
True.
wow.
Which isn't the same for me. I like to hear it over.
You
the
want to hear
When
that
you
static.
drive, what do
I
you
do,
do?
yes.
I usually Spotify or podcasts, but I do listen to the radio for like NPR. That's the
Yeah.
one example.
Okay. That's
If
true.
I'll use NPR. For
What I like
that.
to do is when I went up to Clovis last week and I listen to the radio and I'll see how it changes.
Yeah.
I like to do that.
I like
that
that
is
too.
fun.
That's fun. Yeah.
So
You get the farm
Because
report.
we used to do that. Yeah. Well, we used to do that when we were kids and to see how it like changes from like a heavy metal station to like a country station or
the
like
same signal?
Yeah, like
Oh,
a
yeah.
Frank Sinatra
And it's
station
kind of like where
or
two
something.
rivers meet. They're sort of
Yeah.
churning into each other for a while.
Exactly. And so it's just funny to me, but
Yeah.
that's pretty much, or like my car console radio, like a circuit fried, so I couldn't stream through so I had to listen to the radio strictly. So I listened to that, and it's like one of those things where like, when you like lose your phone for a bit and you're
Yeah.
like, I kind of like it. I'm unconnected. I don't have to listen, and you're like, so I was like, I like the radio, but then as soon as I got my phone back, I just listened to
Thank God I got my
whatever,
phone
So
back.
Dina-
whatever I wanted.
Dina, you use social media to find new music, yes?
I do. But speaking of social media, someone on the Facebook live video has
Yeah.
a question.
Okay.
So I think this is interesting to address to the panel. Dan Miles,
Oh, Dan.
he asked, is someone who likes an artist's music enough to listen to it regularly via all the free methods like YouTube, etc., but not enough to actually pay for it, technically a fan of the artist?
I think absolutely.
I think so, because I think people pay whatever they can afford.
Exactly.
And yeah,
all
go
of
ahead.
those songs that person can access, the band always needs to just view that as a marketing, publicity budget. Whatever you got to do to spin it so you're going, well, I'm not getting the money. You're getting attention. You're getting a person who's talking about you out there and playing your music. That's
Right.
Playing,
worth a lot.
They could
It
be
is.
playing your music in a car with other people who might
Worth
go
a
and
lot.
buy it, or they're
Or
going to
share
come
it.
out and see your show when you come to town. You're just you become part of their consciousness, and that's always a healthy thing, I think. But that's a really good question
Yeah.
because as an artist, you may feel like, oh, I'm getting ripped off. People are enjoying.
Well, after about a month of that activity, we're coming after you.
Yeah, it's like you get like, the trial period is up, and Bob's boom, boom, boom.
You haven't
I
bought
want my
yet?
dollar.
Closet tape.
So, Bob, when you, as a creator of new music, when you put it up, you use CD Baby, right?
We do.
So, what's the process? How does it
Well,
work?
you go to CD Baby and you just fill out a whole bunch of stuff, but they'll handle as much as you want them to handle or not. They'll handle paying publishers and writers if you want or not, but you have to make sure that you're responsible for that if you do. They'll do your ISRC codes. They'll get everything ready for a release and then get it up there, and you choose this. You tell them, where do you want them to send your music? And of course, everybody says everywhere. And
There's so many.
Everywhere is free up until a certain point.
Yeah.
Okay. But the everywheres that are free, it's enough. It's everywhere. So look, we put out the Rain in the Park and Other Things Acapella on July 31st. On August 1st, it was in Pandora rotation.
Wow.
Now you can't get that
No. That's
from
awesome.
the old days. And, you know, that takes a lot of work.
Sure.
Not
Yeah.
that that's a big deal, but it was to us. And it
Well,
spreads
it
out
is,
because
yeah.
we get the CD report every month. You know, we sell music every month. And it's not, you know, no one's going to quit jobs over it. But what's interesting is the distribution and the breakdown you get. And it's just all over the world. It's iTunes Australia, iTunes Europe, iTunes America. It's Rhapsody. It's Sound. It's all of them.
Does it help, though, to already have the brand name of the Cowsills?
Well, of course, that's an advantage going in because we have a base of people who, if they find us, they remember us. They I wonder what the Cowsills are up to. If you're a new group, no one's wondering what you're up to. You got you got a whole other challenge there.
Yeah, Lisa and the
even-
Peaches are still, you know, she's just trying.
See? But
No one's Googling.
Still
But
trying to
still,
make
you
it.
have to have product. If you don't have product, who cares? You know, you got to be viable. You got to be real. You're not just resting on 3 hits you had between 67 and 70.
Right.
There's a lot going on, and what all of this social media and these opportunities afford any band is to do a lot of stuff. You can make a video and the world can see it. You can make a record, the world will hear it if you get it out there. You can send it to everybody. You can go right to the consumer. And that's the big get, is get all the middle people out and go right to the consumer.
Are you going to make videos with your new music?
We don't know. We're old and ugly. We don't know. Maybe.
You're not old and ugly.
But you know, we're not video artists. We just missed being video artists. But yeah, we might. But
You had some of the
probably
first
not.
music videos.
Those are TV appearances.
No, they were music videos.
They
You were on a boat.
Oh, well, that was a promotion. You know, in the old days,
You
you,
were on a
made a
train.
little video because you sent it to American Bandstand because you couldn't get to Philadelphia then, you know, and they
Right.
played the video instead of you. So in that way,
And was it filmed then, or was it videotaped?
Oh, yeah.
It's
It was
filmed. Yeah,
yeah.
it was filmed. It's-
Somebody sat there and cut it.
yeah, we got a couple of promotional videos that are
Very cool.
they're awesome to us.
Yeah,
you
I'm
know.
sure.
They're
Yeah.
awesome. And thank God we got on TV because those are other videos we use.
Right. Yeah. Do you need? Do you ever think about hiring announcers for your next album? I think that'd be a really
Oh,
important
I like
thing
that.
Joe
To
and I like to
announce-
talk to you
And
about.
now.
The
Announce the
potential,
next song coming up.
Yeah.
yeah, the potential of voiceover work with the
think
Cowsills
it's
is
important.
phenomenal.
It is phenomenal. I've
It's
heard that. yes.
untapped right now.
Mm-hmm.
You're,
Do you
you're on the
need
ground
anybody on your next album to like shout out conspiracy theories?
They would like, well, if there could be any kind of flow of Illuminati information throughout, you know.
I also got a lot of flat Earth stuff that really goes well with
Flat Earth.
What we'll
It's
do is
playing right
we'll
now.
record you through the whole length of the thing, and then we'll play you backwards under it.
The new lyrics are going to be, "We can fly, and we found out the Earth is flat."
Right.
There you go.
How to submit music for Grammy consideration.
Yes.
Lisa. So
Go
let's
to
say,
Grammy.com.
There you go.
but you can go to Grammy.com/Grammy/award/voting-process.
There are rules.
Like
And
right
we
there.
we just finished our
There it is.
we just finished our entry process. So you have to wait until next year, about next July, somewhere around there. So we're all filled up for this year.
I actually, about 3 years ago, submitted for spoken word a group of voiceover artists. I gathered together a group and we recorded children's stories.
Oh, okay.
And all the proceeds went to Mattel Children's Hospital. And so it was interesting to do the submission and go through the process, which was very easy. And we had to use it wasn't a member, it was a production company. Is that what you said?
Well, you could be a member. Members can
right. We
enter
didn't
or
have
media
that.
companies.
It was a media
Yeah.
company. That's how we entered. Yeah.
So if you enter as a media company, but to be a media company, you have to
very
be an
easy.
established media company that actually has,
And it was
Did you
exciting.
win any
that-
cash or
We
prizes?
did not win
Did you win
anything. No,
cash or
but we
prize?
got a year's supply of turtle wax. Really interesting.
Who's ready for
Turtle wax.
Facebook feed time?
Facebook feed time.
Okay.
Wow, if only we had some sort of a jingle. Oh, we do.
There it is. This is from Rob Eisenberg. Joe, you know Rob.
Rob.
Rob the Iceman Eisenberg?
Yes.
He posted something funny today. It said, can someone explain why my cell phone called itself 3 times today without me even touching it? I had to block my own number. Not kidding.
Oh, really? That's bizarre.
And then a fellow Premier employee commented,
Eric.
Eric Canali wrote, Drained of the electricity you once gave the relationship, deprived of the physical connection it longs for, even if just a warm shoulder to caress, it issued a desperate cry for help and was ignored.
And then you blocked it.
You monster. No, how could your phone call itself?
I've done that.
Oh,
if you have,
really?
If you have I don't know if this is the reason.
Illuminati.
But, yeah, Illuminati.
It's a new app.
They're trying to record my calls. So the trick is not to answer. So no, I have an iPhone and I had my iPad up and I had iMessage and I accidentally called myself through my iMessage.
Gotcha.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
But that happened just randomly. But I don't know if that's what he was dealing with.
Yeah.
Completely different subject,
Yeah.
but I have to tell you something about phones that I did not know. I was at Aretha Franklin's funeral, as
Stop.
one
You
might
were?
be. Yeah, I was at Aretha Franklin's
I
funeral.
heard it was like 7 days.
It was long.
Did you bring a lunch?
I was there for 7.5. Well, I was there actually for 9 hours, but because I got there early.
Well, we
And
need to hear all the
then,
backstage gossip.
But anyway, so
Okay.
point is, I'm at the funeral,
Right.
and I'm seeing that it's like getting 7.5, 8 hours, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, only way I can get home from this place is if I have
Power.
I have to get Uber, right?
Yeah.
So I have to have power,
that's right.
and I forgot to bring my brand new charger that I just bought like a whatever,
Right.
a
Yeah, the portable
brick
one.
thing, whatever.
Yeah.
So I forgot to bring it with me. So I'm like, holy crap, how am I going to get out of here? I'm going to have to call the police. Like, nobody's going to, that's the only way I'm going to get home.
Well, nobody had any power, though.
Yeah, well, I know everybody's probably drained by that time, right? So
Yeah,
I'm,
you guys
I'm
need like
Literally.
emergency batteries.
So my phone goes, like my screen is black, right?
Yeah.
And I'm hitting this button. I hit it. All of a sudden, this thing comes on. My sister's texting me, "Are you okay? Oh my God, where are you? Are you all right?" I hit the SOS thing, which I did not know that if you hit 3 times fast, it goes to SOS to whoever your emergency people are, which I didn't even know I had
Oh,
them.
my.
So my sister and my husband who couldn't care less, he
It's like, I'm sure she's fine.
I'm trying to watch
It was,
Netflix here.
Help me!
Honey.
Like the messages are like, "Help me!"
Wow.
Emergency.
And Teddy's just like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
she's with Aretha's
Yeah.
people. They'll take care of her.
And then it takes pictures of where you are.
You're
So
kidding.
it takes pictures of and it tells your location. So I had pictures of my feet, pictures
It also
of the
posts
guy
to
in front
Facebook
of
saying,
me.
"My husband doesn't care about me at all."
So
So
I
what
didn't. I realized
happened?
it's not the same as calling yourself, but it's calling other people that I had
Interesting.
no idea I was calling.
So what happened?
So I tried to tell him, like, what are you talking about? I'm at Aretha Franklin's funeral. Well, you're sending me an SOS. I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
Were you with the Goffin girls?
No, I was not. I was just by myself.
Really? Oh, because you're from Detroit and
I'm from Detroit, and I happened to be in Detroit at the same time at the Detroit Jazz Festival.
okay.
Do you really
And,
know if it was jazz?
Was it jazz?
Yeah.
Jazz, come on. So I was at the Detroit Jazz Festival anyway, so I just found someone who inquired, and I got to go, and it was really awesome.
Wow.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
My favorite
long.
moment of watching the 2 funerals were back to back, John McCain and Aretha
Oh,
Franklin.
yeah, right.
My favorite moment of John McCain's funerals, that there's a shot of the church and out walks Jay Leno.
Oh,
He's
Oh,
just
my.
standing there and he takes out his phone. He hits a button, like, because you know that he wrote down the number of the driver that brought him there.
oh, right.
So he's just like tapping something. And then he's just looking around for his car.
Oh, no.
And then people realize, oh, it's Jay Leno. And they walk up and start shaking
Oh,
his hand.
maybe he SOS.
But it was just like funny that he's just like, well, that's over.
I'm out of here. Where's my car?
You're just like, that camera shot was the best because it was so Jay to me. All right.
There's the difference between Jay Leno and I. Jay just got to
Jay had
touch
power.
one button. He
One
had
button,
power.
yeah.
It wasn't as long. He had power.
She's got to
He
call
had
the
a car.
police.
He had a
The
car.
McCain funeral was a reasonable time length.
Right. I was afraid I'd have to call 911
People
to get
still
home.
had power when they emerged.
Well, you know, Joe just has to like make a small gesture, and his
Just
car
a
comes
slight
to the-
gesture.
it's
It's,
like-
it's really an eyebrow. Just one little, and the car comes instantly. Yeah.
The problem is you just have cars constantly.
Constantly.
Oh, yeah. No, I guess he doesn't need us yet. Keep circle.
Yeah.
All right. Ready for what's Twitter trending?
Okay.
I can never say that well. Joe, could you please say it?
What's Twitter trending?
Thank you.
Thank you.
On Twitter today, hashtag Name Your Car Day. All right, so we have a
Bob.
tweet. Jack, would you like to read this tweet? It's from Ana Luisa.
You betcha. Well, she says, all my cars have or had the same name, Berta, in honor of Berta Benz. She encouraged her husband to invent the automobile, spent her money in the idea, and it was her who had the courage to ride an automobile for the first time. Not a man, she.
All right, so is this a conspiracy theory and or did her husband invent the car? Because I had thought it was...
Right. I've never heard this, but Ben's.
But there's
makes
a picture,
sense, right?
and the car looks like it may be...
Not quite a car.
So it's the Benz of
like
the
a-
Mercedes-Benz.
It's like a
Maybe like a
tricycle.
I'd
souped
feel
up
better
tricycle.
if her first name was Mercedes.
Yeah.
But look at that car. That's...
Berta, get out here. Get in this thing. Just go. Just
That
do it.
is a death trap. First of all, she's sitting up
It's like
there.
a bicycle, giant
It
bicycle.
is. It's a
But
tricycle.
by the 19th century standards, that's like a Volvo. Actually, it was really safe.
Yeah, people are probably like, "What witchcraft is this?"
Handlebars.
Yeah.
The weird handlebar thing happening.
And I'm adding that to the show just for the photo alone. So if you're
awesome.
watching this at home or listening at home, please look it up because
Quality of
Do
that
you
photo
always have
is
to have those
amazing.
two guys next to you pushing the wheels while you drive?
they're...
But you see her, she's going, I can't connect my Bluetooth.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, that.
This
the
doesn't
guy
have
on the
Apple
left-
Play.
The guy on the left is named Horse, and the other guy's named Power.
Oh.
Yeah. All right.
I was
Wow.
thinking that this was brave in the beginning, but then if you look at her outfit, I mean, look at the hair and
Oh,
the
yeah.
amount of she's covered.
Oh, yeah.
She's
If
ready to
she
go.
falls, like there's no way she's gonna just bounce back up.
Well,
Like,
maybe she's wearing enough bloomers that it would cushion
Well,
the
she's
blow.
going places. I
Yeah.
mean, and by the way, like how fast, and her dress
With the
blowing
cobblestones,
back.
too.
Maybe she's got a
Everything-
helmet under there, too.
Everything was stacked against her.
Everything's stacked.
And
literally.
yet, she persisted. So, from Resistor...
That's what you should
Yes.
make a little, by the way. You need to make a meme out of that thing and say, and yet she persisted. That's what
Oh, that would be great.
All right, so who wants to help me with this list? Because Resistor wrote a list of all her different car
I'll
names.
do one.
Yeah,
the
go
first
ahead.
car was Blanche Devereaux, always giving out. Blanche Devereaux, always giving out at inappropriate times. Okay.
Her second car was...
Is this mine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Julia Sugarbaker, a classy and proud lady, slightly past her prime. Slightly past her prime.
Third car, Lori.
Wheezy Jefferson. Moving on up.
Moving on up.
Moving on up. Purchase new.
Fourth, current car, Karen Walker. Conspicuously sassy and flashy. Honey. I'm going to let Bob read the tweet from Doug Benson
Yeah,
because
go,
I think
Bob.
it's
I
good.
don't name cars. What do we
No.
do?
No, Doug Benson's
Oh.
tweet is funny.
My last car was a Nissan, so I named it Liam.
Hashtag
Name your car.
Name
day.
your car day.
That's very good.
All right, who wants to plug stuff? Bob, what do you got to plug?
What have I got to plug?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm telling you, I got a lot to plug. I just is it AC or DC? All right. Well, anyway, we're going into the studio and make a new record this year. We got a lot of shows to do this year.
Where do we find your Pledge Music page?
No, that's over.
Oh.
We're going in the studio. We got the money. We got to go
Nice.
do the album. So that's done. Thank you.
And you guys are going down to Dockside?
We got the Acapella. We're going to Dockside Studios in Louisiana, October 26th through November 4th for the first volley.
Nice.
And then we're going to induct Artie Kornfeld, who wrote The Rain in the Park and other things, into the Long Island Music Hall of Fame, November 8th. Be there. And December 8th at the Cutting Room in New York City, we're performing. And at Sellersville the next day, December 9th. And then January 4th, the Showcase in New York City. And then the Flower Power Cruise. And a lot going on. See you out there.
Wow,
that's
that
good.
meant
Wait,
By
are
the way.
are you going back on the Happy Together tour next summer?
Oh, and the Happy Together tour next summer, 60 to 7 cities next summer. We're going for
Wow.
it. Because either the audience is going to die or we are. So we're going for gusto.
That's great, Bob.
Lori,
going
how
on.
was your contest?
Yeah.
Oh, it was not a scam.
Okay,
So that was good.
you went to Clovis.
Yeah, I went
and
to Clovis. It was actually really fun. It was a fun place.
Best $6,000 she ever invested.
I know,
actually.
it was great. It's great. I can go back once every other month if somebody's not already signed up. No, I moved on. So I'm performing October 19th at the casino in Yosemite.
All right.
So, yeah.
moving
Team
on.
Lori.
Yeah.
Team Lori.
I mean, I don't want to blow up your guys' spot, but I feel like I should announce that Jack and Joe are doing a jazz duo called This Is Not Jazz.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Way to steal the thunder.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
and,
know, I'm
and
so
our,
sorry.
our friend Bill.
Oh, that's right. Yes. So the way I got into stand-up comedy was I took a comedy class from a gentleman named Bill Word. And I mean, I'm far funnier now, but he was the one who kind of helped me get into the whole thing, and he was the one who pushed me out, and so I owe him everything.
And he helped me a lot too, and Devin Sirocco.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He
And,
literally pushed her out. He's like, you can't come here anymore, please.
Great
No,
guy.
He honestly literally did. We used to do this show at Martini Blues, and I would never go anywhere else. And he's like, I am not booking you at Martini Blues until you do at least one outside spot.
Yeah, you're too
Nice.
comfortable here.
Yeah. So I literally went across, like, down the street. To another hunt. But so he is he's dealing with a lot of health issues right now, and he has a GoFundMe page. If you go on GoFundMe and type in Bill Ward,
W-O-R-D.
W-O-R-D, you'll be able to find him. And if you can donate or share, that I would really appreciate it.
Fantastic.
Lisa, Girl on the Go.
Yeah. So I guess just my podcast, A Girl on the Go. Everything is available at agirlonthego.com. Everything.
Everything. You're consolidating.
I'm consolidating with the podcast, the blog. I'm starting soon with guest bloggers. By the way, paid guest bloggers. I'm paying my people who write for me.
You're so good.
Not like some other blogs who don't pay people, including high profile. They don't pay anybody.
Things that rhyme with rough row.
Right, and with rough row.
Yeah.
I pay. So, Girl on the Go. And of course, my book. I'm always promoting my book. 14 Days. It's on Amazon and
Beautiful
everywhere.
book.
Everywhere.
14 days is the title.
Yes.
Just making sure.
Jack, what do you got?
What do you got, Jack?
Well, I guess I'll plug I have an interesting project that I think is anyway. A trailer coming out that will be an movie house trailer, something you don't see very much anymore, where they're actually voiced.
Where there's a VO on it.
Where there's actually a VO. So I'm very excited about it. It'll be coming out for Wreck-It Ralph 2. So the next time you go and see a
nice.
movie, probably this month, I think it's coming out. You might actually hear my voice in the movie theater. which I'm very excited.
Wow. Very nice.
Very exciting.
Congratulations.
I'm going to burst into applause.
Yes. There you go. There she goes now.
And I'm going to scream, that's not Jack!
I have Hollywood Game Night coming back. I think that comes back in December. And there's another show it hasn't been signed yet, but it will start in December as well. And I hope that happens, and I can talk about that at another time.
Ooh, excitement, Joe.
But Hollywood Game Night with Jane Lynch is a kick.
She's
On
so
NBC.
great.
It's fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love her. All right, thank you guys. I want to thank everyone. My name is Louise Palenko. I hope that you will subscribe to this podcast, share it, and comment. And also, if you leave a review, it helps other folks like yourself find it. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
You're my favorite.
Great to visit.
And we will see you here not next week. We'll be running a rerun next week, and then we'll see you the week after that. We love you. Bye-bye.